How about his jaw? You had talked about him always having his mouth in the open position.
Yep.
How's that going?
Yeah, that's improved as well. Sometimes it still sits open a little, but there's nowhere near as much drooling. Before, you know, he'd have bibs and he'd have to, they'd just be wet. And if I didn't have one on, you know, like he'd just dribble. There's almost no drooling, almost none.
Excellent.
Which is great. Really, really, really good. And his jaw, he's bringing his lips together more often, so now that's creating more sounds. So he's blowing raspberries, and we play a game with him where, you know, we'll put our fat hand up and we'll say a peekaboo, a boo, and he's doing that with his toy and he's going a so I think he's trying to mimic the sound because he can, and he's doing it. The last few days has been a big improvement with just the blowing the raspberries. His tongue seems very active, so there's a lot happening in his mouth. I think he's discovering his lips with his tongue, and the sounds that he's, you know, not making, that he's making that he wasn't making before, and the sounds that he's making with bringing his lips together with the tongue and the blowing raspberries the last few days has really picked up a lot. So the practice that he's been getting just with discovering it, yeah, he's...
Like, speech-wise, before he wasn't making a lot of sounds, and
he was
now
making...
he is, so.
He was making a lot of sounds, but he wasn't making any consonants, so there was never the... There wasn't that. He made lots of sounds, but now he'll sort of so they're coming together. So he was vocal, but there wasn't any sounds that sounded like they were ever going to turn into words. Even if it's Will's version of a word, it wasn't progressing.
And now you think?
I think so. I think the fact that he's discovered his lips and his tongue is a really good thing, because that can only help him with vocalising and forming words in the coming months, because he's discovered it. I mean, when you discover something, that can do that, and you do it over and over again, and eventually you get better at it.